Hi and welcome back to the Pt3a channel. It's a continuation of the 1988 DT125R 3DB motor disassembly. I'm going to take out the piston and take off the barrel and put something through the con rod so I can undo the clutch and remove the clutch. So these barrel retaining nuts, are a 12mm socket or spanner. Usually best to use a spanner because the moulding, the shape of the moulding doesn't let many sockets in there. This is the back right nut. On the back left there's a small holder for the clutch, and it goes on that way with this curved section, fits across the back of the barrel. I can position the piston low down on the stroke. Might make taking this off a bit easier. Pretty clumsy, wasn't it? There's a bit of red there. I wonder what that was. Wasn't blood. Dreaming. Well, smell nicely of engine oil. I ought to put the barrel in a safe place, so I will do that. So I'll be taking the piston off next. And from personal experience, I know that it helps if you just place a physical barrier between the edge of the piston and the inside of the machine. Even though with this one everything's likely to drop out on the desk, on the bench, but you never know. Now hopefully the gudgeon pin will just push through. Ha! It's not doing it today. Yeah, I mean, so the trick is to take the gudgeon pin out one side and push your gudgeon pin, take your circlip out from one side and push your gudgeon pin through. On this, we're having a bit of difficulty. So I'm going to take both the bloody piston rings out, I think. Make life a bit harder for myself later on down the line. Oops, sorry about that. It would only come out one way. How odd. It's really causing me hassle today. Well, do you ever?
take a bit of work getting the old gudgeon pin out. I wonder why it's so stiff. I don't really want to start tapping it with a hammer. You know, why should I tap it with a hammer? Bloody hell. Look at that. Wants to move some of the way. Don't want to slip with a screwdriver now, stick it through my hand. Well, I never. Seems like it might have to be drifted out with something. Never known that before. I've only done 3 of them. Well, I don't know. The back of my my wrench here just happens to fit down the hole, and you didn't see this. Oh, I never. You know what I mean? Never known anything like it. Probably sounds, it's the knurling catching on the piston. Terrible sound. Well, I mean, I don't know. Should have done it the other way, really, and you'd be able to see what's happening. Well, I don't know, it had to drift it out. Never known that before. I'll have to inspect that piston later. I've had it up to 8,000 RPM. It's evidence of some. I think that means that the porting isn't very good. If it's got sort of stain there. Anyway, wow, it's not the place. That's not carbon. Well, the crank feels good in that regard. It's still got that wobble. I don't know, it feels like there's about 10 thou of movement there. 10 thousandths of an inch of movement. Anyway, that might be alright. Well, I must admit, normally my gudgeon pins are a bit looser than that. Here is my small little end bearing. I call it small end bearing, but it's little end bearing. I'll probably get a new one of these, although there's nothing wrong with that one, I don't think, although the bike won't start. Like, you know, it runs, but it won't start. I wonder if that tight gudgeon pin has anything to do with it. You know, it's probably not very well ported. I always wonder whether the Yamaha power valve system thing is the valve is in the wrong position. Either too open, too close. I mean, the whole assembly's got holes in it, where someone's drilled holes in it and missed a couple of times. Certainly weren't me. I'm thinking of welding up those holes, because it could affect the compression, maybe. I don't know. Alright. Great to see where my gasket was working. Yep. I think that red I saw was off this gasket face. I saw a little flash of red, and there's a piece of red missing off this gasket. See what I saw. That probably fell in the engine. Oh no, there it is. There we go, that was the bit of red I saw. I wasn't imagining things. Right, don't need that so much now, that rag, but
But the way I've set this up is an adaptation of what I read in a Haynes manual, I think. Basically it says a bar through the con rod eye. Well, I never liked metal against metal, so I've always used a padded, and that really doesn't make any difference to the effectiveness of this method of locking the crank. But it just means that your con rod will not get damaged by any steel against steel, because I mean, that's just personal. And it's just held up off here with some bits of hardwood. So now I can take a 10mm spanner and undo that lock nut.
Right, so I've held the crank with the piece of steel. Now I've changed my mind to a Pt3a on this. I don't know whether that was what I said last time, but Pt3a definitely fits. And the nut here is a 10mm. That's the adjustment rod lock nut coming off. There should be a sort of washer behind that. There we go. That'll come out as one on this motor, and it's already magnetised, and the balls come out on the end of it, which is interesting. Weren't expecting the ball. That means there's one more push rod in there. Put that straight in a safe place. So I might be able to get that out if I turn the motor on its side. Ooh. Oh, I did. Sometimes, I know I had a DT50 and the clutch was a bit notoriously harder to get out than that. Right, well, like I say, there's nothing actually wrong with the clutch on this. Along with the water system, the clutch was like one of the things that I actually managed to, these are 8mm I think. So a slight tuning of this situation. I've just had to put one of my containers in front of these bits of wood to stop them dropping off whenever there's no tension on this. So 8mm. That's funny. These should come undone quite easy. Let me get my socket on these. A little bit of leverage. I'm doing these in the diagonal pattern because they do hold quite a lot of tension. Whoops, sorry about that. They hold quite a lot of tension. Oh, that smell of clutch. There's no smell like a clutch. You know it's a two-stroke clutch. They always smell a bit wasted. Oh, they do smell like gas. Natural gas. Now when you remove these, you're supposed to keep the order in which they came out. Now I know I've gone a bit hectic there, but I'm not doing full turns anyway. You can guess, if you like, which one I'm going to do next. If you can guess it correctly, then you've got has got the intuitive way of doing the clutch removal. Oh, that natural gas smells really very strong. Oh, I've done it. They're nearly out anyway now, so. Oops. Well, I'm going to edit this down, aren't I? Flipping it. Wasn't you how to fast forward stuff? I don't know how to fast forward it. They're quite long old buggers, aren't they? Oops, there we go. There's a little thing here. It's a kind of locking pin. Oh yeah, and there's that. There's the mark as well. The mark has to align with other marks, which is explained in a previous video that I've done, which I'm going to have to go and watch because I've forgotten it. Oh, it's the mark there. Of course it is. Right. Otherwise it won't go on quite properly. Right, so we've got to take all these out. Don't really need to inspect these. Oh, I wonder actually if they're at all stuck together. That'd be worth having a look at. So I have had these known to be all stuck together. Get them square or they won't slide out easy. Oh, they're not stuck together at all. Ah, right. I've got much way down.
So right here is a lock washer. Now I've got to bend the tabs down, and I've got to make a special tool that holds the basket still while I do that. And this is what's going to take a few